Hey there, welcome back to my channel. Jackie here. Okay, have you ever been out and you maybe had a little too much to drink, or maybe you had a bad day, so you were like on a roll and you were just like, exhaling a bunch of negative stuff, or, who knows, but the date didn't go well and you made a really bad impression, and you're thinking, oh my gosh, I cannot believe that I said that I did that. And so this video is all about how to recover from making a bad impression. Okay, so you've probably been there just like I have. You kind of wake up the next day, or when you get home after a date or after talking to a friend or whatever the situation, even your husband, and you're like, ugh, oof, right? Oof, I wish I wouldn't have said that, done that, etc. And you feel bad. And so let's talk about some tips on helping you to recover from making a bad impression. Okay, the first tip that I want to give you is I want you to really assess, is it even worth it? Sometimes, yes, we do have regrets about how we behaved or what we shared, or what, just whatever happened. But I don't know if it's always worth it to try to make amends, especially in dating. Especially in dating, I went out with this guy who, um, it just things didn't go well. We ended up kind of arguing at the end of the day, because when he went to the bathroom, he said that I was flirting with the men 2 tables over, but I wasn't. They were a wonderful gay couple, and I was just talking to them about why they were in town, and they were doing this boating, and I'd never heard of it, and we were having a really nice dialogue, and I thought that my date would come back and join in the conversation, but he thought it was really rude and inappropriate, and I was like, eek. So we had a little heated conversation about that. Then I proceeded to go home and text him and defend my position, which I know I don't really recommend doing that. And that was years ago, before I became a coach and knew how to date really well. So don't do that. Take my word for it. So I did regret having that kind of dialogue, but was it worth it for me to try to make amends with him? No, because I was never going to see him again. It wasn't, he didn't handle it well, neither did I, but it was definitely a next. So you really need to assess, is it even worth it? So the next tip I want to give you on this is, I want you to, if you want to recover from making a bad impression. Now, if you're interested in reaching out after this happened, then of course you need to admit your mistake. That's tip number 2. You need to admit your mistake. You need to show up with your hat in your hand and reach out and see if you can't create that bridge that might bring you another opportunity, if you're dating, or maybe set an appointment with your husband or boyfriend or whatever. But admitting your mistake, just being like, you could do this in a text, or you can do it in a phone call. In fact, if you really like that person, I recommend go ahead and pick up the phone. And it could sound something like, hey, Jim Bob, thanks so much for last night. I really enjoyed myself, but that's not why I'm calling. I'm calling to let you know that I know I had a couple too many drinks, and I probably shared a little too much about XYZ. And I just want to let you know that that wasn't my best self. Hopefully you're going to give me an opportunity to show you the real me. So I just wanted to leave this message because I did enjoy myself, and I'd like to see you again. That's it. Yes, you can do that. I mean, worst case scenario, he's not going to call you back, right? Or you can text him that. I think a voice message is going to be more powerful, because if you did drink too much, or say you were bitter or angry about your ex or whatever, hearing your tone of voice, hearing that you're apologetic and a little contrite, will contribute to his decision whether to see you or not again. But there's no guarantee he's going to want to, spend time with you after whatever it is you said or did. So, but it might help you feel better about yourself. You know that you did what you felt that was important for you, and so you can feel good about taking that step. Now, the next piece is it's really important that you observe and correct. This is the next tip, and I know I said piece, but I meant tip. So observe and correct. What does that mean, really? So when you observe that you make a mistake, it's really important that you don't continue to beat yourself up over it over and over again, and even to the point where you're actually mentioning it. Have you ever been around somebody who, like, oh gosh, I'm so sorry about what happened last week, and they've already apologized and they keep bringing it up? They've already forgotten about it, but you haven't, right? So that's why observe and correct technique is really helpful. You have to observe your lesson perfect behavior as soon as humanly possible so it doesn't drain your energy. And so when you observe a mistake that you've made, you go, okay, I won't do that again. And then you've corrected it in acknowledging that it was something that you wouldn't do again and you regret it. Then it's done. You have to forgive yourself. You have to allow yourself to move on and not bring it up again. Because I guarantee you, most people don't even know what you're talking about. They completely forgot. Everybody has regrets. Like if they drink too much, you have to remember everybody's waking up thinking, what did I say? What did I do? And they're all thinking about the same thing you are, their contribution to whatever happened. So continuing to ask, comment about it, etc. It's just, it actually shows sign of a low self-esteem and makes you look really insecure. So, do the inner work, release it, observe and correct it, and move on. Okay. Now, the fourth tip I want to give you is I want you to inventory. Inventory the evening. I want you to look back and reflect on what happened and see where you maybe went off track, where you were sharing or whatever triggered it. You really want to not just beat yourself up, but get the benefit of the lesson that it can provide you, that wisdom that can come forward. Because if you don't do that, you're more likely to repeat it. But if you ask yourself again, I'm always about, what did you learn? What's the process? Did you get to the root of it? Did you go to the thing behind the thing? It's so important. Otherwise, what's going to happen is might happen again. So make sure you're constantly committed to this path of self-discovery, self-intimacy, and boundaries with yourself by getting intimate with what triggered the impulse that created the regret in the first place, the bad impression, and then you'll really know to make sure you whatever it is, don't drink too much, resolve the uncomfortable feelings you have with an ex, etc. Get to the thing behind the thing and get that done. Take responsibility for yourself and how you feel, because it's going to happen again if you don't. All right, now before we go on, what I'm always wanting you to do is, when I just said about taking responsibility for yourself, it's really the most beautiful path that you can take in life is recognizing that we're here to grow and evolve and live a fun, happy life. If you're not having that experience, especially in dating, then you probably need more support than you're getting. And I want you to make sure you check out the link in the box below, because the Inner Circle membership program might be just the perfect thing for you. You can connect with me and my coaches, the other women in my community, take my amazing soulmate journey course, and really get the support that you need so that you can not only learn these things that I'm teaching you in these just small incremental bites on YouTube, but you can start applying them in your day-to-day life and really start to see the results of your efforts. So check that out, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss an episode. All right, I'm going to move on to tip number 5. Now, this is kind of like really more of a summary of all the tips I just shared. I just really want to encourage you to be gentle with yourself. I mean, we're so much harder on ourselves than other people are, or even think about us. So whatever you think you did, it probably is a lot lesser than what your mind's making it out to be. So just be gentle with yourself. Be your own best friend, and make sure that you take what I shared to heart. If you are making a bad impression or some consistent bad behavior, you really need to take some stock, slow down, and get really curious about what's driving that. And if you're over drinking on dates, that's a real big problem. Something maybe is bigger that's at play, and you want to really evaluate where that's coming from, and maybe take a little break from drinking altogether. Because I'm telling you right now, if you're on a date and you are drinking more than your date, or drinking more than 2 drinks, which is what I recommend as the maximum, there's really something else going on. There's no reason why you need to go on a date and start partying like that, unless your intention is for something entirely different. So if you're looking for your soulmate on this path that the channel is all about, then you want to really evaluate your behavior and take these tips to heart. I hope this helped you, and just remember, get out there, start dating, start having those video dates, because summer's coming and there's an opportunity here post COVID that's really going to be incredible for everybody that's single right now. So, and those of you that are in relationships, going to be a great opportunity for you to start planning trips, right? So I will see you in the next video. Thanks for being a part of my community.